You have been taught that the smartest people in the room are the ones who talk the most, that the one who explains fastest wins. That silence means weakness. History disagrees with you. The most powerful man in 17th century Europe built an entire empire of fear, not through armies, not through speeches, not through dominance. He built it through 3 words and absolute silence. Versailles, 1680s. The court of King Louis XIV was the most politically lethal place in France. Hundreds of nobles, ministers, and aristocrats competed every single day for the king's favor, for land, titles, money, and survival. To lose the king's approval was to lose everything. So they became masters of persuasion, brilliant, calculating, dangerous men. And every single one of them was terrified of Louis XIV, not because he was the loudest man in the room, because he was almost always the quietest. Ministers would spend weeks, sometimes months, preparing their arguments, crafting every sentence, anticipating every objection. They would stand before the king in the great hall and deliver their case with everything they had. Louis would sit perfectly still through all of it, his expression unchanged, his eyes unreadable. When they finished, there was silence, not a brief pause. A suffocating, room-filling silence that seemed to last forever. The ministers would begin to sweat. Had they offended him? Had they said the wrong thing? Was their career over? Then Louis would stand, look at them without emotion, and say 3 words. Je verrai, I shall see. Quiet, deliberate. Then he would walk away. The ministers would leave the hall completely disarmed. They didn't know if they had won or lost. They didn't know anything. Louis had said almost nothing, and yet he controlled the entire conversation. While his most brilliant advisors were paralyzed by his silence, Louis was watching, reading, learning who was loyal, who was desperate, and who could be trusted. 3 words had done what no army could. Over time, something remarkable happened. The ministers stopped pushing back. They stopped making aggressive demands. They started softening their requests before they even made them, trying to preempt the silence they feared. Louis had never asked them to do this. They had done it to themselves. His silence had made them their own jailers. The most articulate, educated, strategically gifted men in Europe, broken not by confrontation, but by the absence of it. Louis XIV ruled France for 72 years, the longest reign of any major European monarch in history. He did not win wars through silence. He did not build Versailles through silence, but he controlled the most dangerous room in Europe through it. Every man who entered that hall believing their eloquence was their power, left having handed their power to the man who said almost nothing. The quietest person in the room had become the most feared king in the world. Here is exactly what Louis XIV understood, and what almost no one around him ever figured out. When you speak, you give everything away. Your strategy, your fears, your need for approval, your desperation to be understood. Every word you add after your point is made is a signal of insecurity. Every clarification you offer unprompted is a confession that you are not sure you were convincing enough. Louis never clarified. He never justified. He said, Je verrai, I shall see, and he walked away. That phrase did 3 things simultaneously. It gave no information. It ended the conversation on his terms. And it forced the other person to keep thinking about him long after he had left the room. He used silence as a mirror. Everything the ministers feared, they projected onto his stillness, He didn't need to threaten them. They threatened themselves. Look at your own life. Where are you over-explaining? Where are you sending the follow-up message that didn't need to be sent? Where are you filling silence that was working in your favor? The moment you stop needing to be understood by everyone, you become someone that everyone is trying to understand.